Calderone.
Aye. We are now going to move into public comment, and I know we have a number of public comment sign-in sheets. Just as a reminder, you're limited to 3 minutes in your public comment. Also, I'm going to point out, because I think I have a feeling what most of the public comment's going to be about, there's no booing or hissing in the audience. That's not the decorum that takes place here. So I'm just simply letting everyone know if there's any sign of booing or hissing or otherwise, I'm going to strike the gavel. We're going to clear the council chambers, let everyone get recomposed, and then we'll start again. Those are part of this thing called Robert's Rules of Order, and that's the mechanism in which our board meetings are run by. So with that, Madam Clerk, you may proceed.
Michelle Fitzhenry.
Michelle Fitzhenry, 1041 Thomas. I think that we can all agree that our government and our residents want Forest Park to prosper, to attract new businesses and home buyers to our area. Please think about this. If someone was thinking of opening a business in Forest Park or wanting to relocate their family here, how would Commissioner Mannix's public statements be viewed? I can't think of a single area where they would be looked at in a favorable light. Rather, it would seem that a difference of opinion or a difference in public policy could result in a Forest Park public official hurting their business or a family member's livelihood by making an outrageous and threatening claim. This does not reflect our values. This does not reflect the small town charm motto of Forest Park, but something more sinister and ugly. The public response to this speaks for itself. I don't know if there's been an apology. I hope there has been one. If not, there needs to be one. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Chris Harris.
Pardon me if there's any redundancy here. I think you're going to be hearing some of the same things from a lot of people. Normalizing attacks on our neighbors is not okay. Going after a citizen for simply because they participate in democracy by passing a petition is downright twisted. Having been the victim of doxing, slander, and even physical threats, just to name a few, by not only associates of the mayor but his family members, I think we can see that there's a wink and a nod that it's okay from the top. I was running for office at the time, and it showed a new chapter of low in Forest Park politics, diving into the dumpster. When supporters of mine were also being harassed by the mayor's family members, I thought we hit an absolute low point. Fast forward to a few days ago, and we have established yet a new low point. What can we do? We can say no to these tactics. Say no to the harassment and the bullying. We need to return to civility, even if we disagree with people. Let's be civil, let's be neighbors.
Thank you.
Jordan Keene.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm Jordan Keene, Forest Park homeowner and resident, as well as chairman of the Political Action Committee Let Forest Park Vote. I'll try to keep this within the 3 minutes or so that you allow. I come here tonight to address the public comments made by one of our elected officials, Mr. Mannix. A couple days ago, Mr. Mannix publicly attacked several people involved in the video gaming petition movement on Facebook, including myself and my wife. I will constrain my comments to his attack against the two of us. I did not take the helm of the Forest Park vote on video gaming petition movement without expecting some sort of attack like this. It's disgusting that citizens need to prepare themselves for attacks by elected officials simply for working to bring an issue to a vote. But that's the reality of the matter. Mr. Mannix was unable to dig up any dirt about me. I have never attacked your family, Mr. Mannix. Never. In fact, I think I've commented publicly about you twice. Once criticizing your vote to enact video gaming, and once outlining your conflict of interest regarding video gambling, all related to your role as commissioner, and all factual. This is what you said in return, Mr. Mannix. I quote, "You publicly raised concerns about a perceived conflict, yet never had your lawyer pursue it. To me, that indicates no such conflict existed. I used to go to River Forest Animal Hospital for my dog, but after that, from all appearances, you not having a job, I looked and saw your wife as a vet there and decided I will never send my dog there. Why? If your wife is willing to be married to someone so deft, I assume you mean daft, then I certainly do not want her to care for my dog. And in fact, believe that should the folks at River Forest Animal Hospital have an opportunity to hurt my dog as a direct result of you, they would. Actions have consequences. The Forest Park Review also publishes conflict of interest. Are you threatening to sue them? This is a fact. You saw fit to claim that I'm unemployed. I'm not. I guess you didn't look on LinkedIn. Then you saw fit to attack my wife. She has no involvement in local politics and is chiefly interested in her career as a veterinarian and raising our 1-year-old child. You went as far as to publish where she works, something your business partner Mark Posty has tried already. You then claimed that she would violate her oaths as a doctor of veterinary medicine by hurting your dog out of spite. You claimed a vet in the entire clinic would hurt your dog because you and I don't agree on politics. That says more about you than me. There is already an outpouring of support for her in the clinic. Just yesterday, she helped a neighbor whose dog was hit by a car on her day off. I'm pretty sure you aren't welcome back at the clinic, and you're lucky if they don't take legal action against you.
I'm going to give you a 30-second wrap-up.
Pretty close. This is all deplorable. You should be ashamed of yourself, but that would require having shame to begin with. Finally, Mr. Mayor, you've been contacted by many people, and your silence is almost appalling as Mr. Mannix's actions. I would look for you to come out and say something publicly as well. Mr. Mannix and I met before this, and he apologized to me privately. I appreciate that, but I think more needs to be done. And his words impacted more than just me. It impacts my wife, the entire clinic, and many other people too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nick Ardinger.
In a strange way, I want to thank Commissioner Mannix for publicly attempting to intimidate me and my family. He's shown everyone his true colors. Someone who would threaten to hurt animals over political disagreements. Someone who would knowingly distort information obtained by a business partner to try to silence citizens and intimidate government employees. Now we know who he is. To the rest of you on the dais, limiting yourself to private rebukes to public misconduct do nothing but engender mistrust. For more than 2 years, this unwillingness to speak publicly and make a case to the public that has vocally expressed its skepticism multiple times has led us here. I look forward to you showing the necessary leadership this town has been asking for years.
Thank you.
Brian Kerr.
Mr. Mayor, honorable council members, and Mr. Mannix. In 2013, the Forest Park Review called Tom Mannix a political poison because he's a public official who seeks to intimidate private citizens from speaking their minds by digging up ostensible dirt on them, spreading rumor and innuendo, threatening them, and attacking them personally. This is what he did a few short days ago to some friends of mine who, like me, were part of the movement to secure a binding vote on video gambling. These attacks extended to family members who are not involved in politics. He did this personally on Facebook, not on an anonymous website as he did in the past, but otherwise this is just what Tom Mannix has always done throughout his career. I believe the mayor approves of this behavior, and he believes he benefits from this behavior because he keeps including Tom Mannix on his slate. He'd be a hypocrite to start denouncing it now. But every other Forest Parker ought to denounce it. I will just say this, Mr. Mannix. In attacking my friends, you've attacked me. In attacking this movement, you've attacked more than 3,000 Forest Parkers who signed a petition simply asking for a vote on a matter that concerns them. And you attacked every single Forest Parker who simply wants to exercise their right to speak freely without fear of reprisal. I'm thinking that a lot of people might turn out in the next couple of elections. A lot of these people might turn out to vote in the next couple of elections, so good luck with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Amy Benz Calvi.
Good evening. I'm Amy Benz Calvi. I've been a resident of Forest Park for 24 years. I want to express my great displeasure and deep concerns over Mr. Mannix's behavior last week. I ride horses, so I'm used to dealing with animals that weigh over 1.5 tons, so I'm not usually intimidated. But when I read the post that Mr. Mannix had directed at my husband and some of our friends, I'm not kidding, a chill went down my back. Mr. Mannix's words felt like intimidation. We live in a democracy, and our citizens should be able to feel like they can express their opinions whether or not they coincide with elected officials. In our democracy, we should not have any intimidation tactics like those kinds of words. I would also like to know what repercussions there are for this kind of behavior by an elected official in our village. This kind of behavior should have consequences, and I know that Mr. Mannix agrees with me on this because his post said, as Jordan quoted, actions have consequences. Words have consequences. There needs to be consequences. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the last one.
Last one, okay. Before we proceed, just for the benefit of all of us, I wanted to ask our village attorney with regards to consequences that the elected body can use. Is there any options? If you wouldn't mind exerting, putting the microphone.
There's procedures in the municipal code for removal of an elected official, but generally those center around prolonged absenteeism. Somebody doesn't show up for 6 months, things like that. There's nothing that I'm aware of that will be grounds for removal by the council of a commissioner for matters posted on social media.
Thank you. I know certainly because we have a larger than normal folks in attendance at our meeting tonight. And I know Jordan Keene made comment about me getting several emails, which I responded to all of those today. I'm just guessing that you didn't know that, but that's okay. So I did respond to the folks that did email me. You know, the reality is, and just like most of you that get up here to speak or are here in support of your friends or neighbors or acquaintances that came here to speak, I certainly was not thrilled by any of those posts. And I spoke to Commissioner Mannix about that. And Jordan, I'm glad that he personally apologized to you. I think that that is appropriate. Some of the folks that emailed me talked about consequences. What could be done? So I know on some folks' minds, they're thinking that we can take action up here to excuse Commissioner Mannix as an elected official. That simply is not possible. It's not legal. You can't do it. But also, and I'm going to close with this, because just like you, and I think Amy may have said it the best, you read some comments about your husband, I think I heard you say. And most likely I'm going to guess that they were disparaging. And just like you, I wouldn't feel good about that either. I would be upset. And it's one of the reasons, you know, I keep as a reminder for myself, I've been carrying this, it's starting to show its age. I've been carrying this for 3 years in my pocket. It may be hard for you folks to see it from here, but in fact, one of the persons that got up here in public comment tonight is responsible for what I'm holding in my hand. And in my hand are the words, "End corruption." And that was targeted at me. So just like you, just like everyone that really felt bad, as they should, because of some of those comments, even though we're elected officials, and I'm not standing up for Commissioner Mannix. He's an adult, and he's got to take responsibility for what he did. But I just want to remind everyone that we too are human beings. And I no more want anyone calling me corrupt than I would expect any of you. But you see, this is from 3 years ago. There's no public outcry. I simply keep this as my own personal reminder just how much the person responsible for this, it was a campaign piece. How much it speaks to this individual's character and integrity. It's not good. I don't think there's a person in the room here tonight that would like to be called corrupt. That is, unless maybe you were, but I don't think that you are. And so it hits at your gut. It tears your gut out when people say things like this. And so I spoke to Commissioner Mannix, and personally I think that he should make an apology, but unfortunately I can't order him to do that. That'll have to be left in his hands. Lastly, I think at some point in our lives, all of us heard this phrase or some variation of this phrase. It takes two to tango. All right? Now, this is not in defense of Commissioner Mannix, because he never, I don't believe, should have said any of the things that he said. But I think if each and every one of us take a deep, deep look, take a deep, deep look into the ongoing conversations that are happening, mostly with regards to video gaming and all of the arrows that are being thrown, no matter how large or how small. There is going to be a vote in November, and really I think the best thing that can be done for the Village of Forest Park is for those that are in support of and those that are against to just take a breather, okay? I don't see any benefit of any more further comments. I mean, both sides know what you need to do leading up to that vote, and each side has the option to be able to do that. But to get online, and Facebook, I think when it was initially founded, started out as a good thing, but all too often it ends up not the best thing in the world, because sometimes people may say things that they wouldn't have otherwise said to somebody's face.